we just relay some facts,
whether they're new or antique.
So just sit back and relax.
It's time for What's Up This Week.
Hello, and welcome to What's Up This Week, your weekly dose of history, facts, and trivia from University Branch Library. This week, we're celebrating the arrival of sunny days chasing the clouds away. Sesame Street debuted on November 10th, 1969. Sesame Street was created by television producer Joan Gans Cooney and Carnegie Foundation Vice President Lloyd Morrisett. They wanted to master the addictive qualities of television and do something good with them. Working with child psychologists, they set out to prove that if you can hold the attention of children, you can educate them. Never afraid to discuss difficult issues, segments of the show have dealt with topics like tolerance, diversity, death, and real-life events like the September 11th terrorist attacks, Hurricane Katrina, and most recently, the COVID-19 pandemic. Through it all, the show uses modeling, repetition, and humor to help drive the lesson home and keep everyone engaged. Sesame Street also encourages parents to watch along with their children and keeps them entertained through the use of guest stars and nods to pop culture events. Sesame Street has been around for more than 50 years and shows no sign of slowing down anytime soon. The library has several books and DVDs for children and adults alike about this institution of educational television. That's what I've got this week. What do you have for us, James?
Well, thank you, Daniel, and hello, everybody. In recent years, the public view of Hedy Lamarr's history has well expanded to include the actress's contributions to science and technology. She was born Hedwig Eva Maria Kiesler on November 9, 1914, to parents of Jewish descent in Vienna, Austria. Her father would take considerable time to explain to his young daughter how things worked, whether it was a streetcar or the printing press. But from an early age, Lamarr knew she wanted to be a performer. As a teenager, she forewent her studies at the Dobling Academy in Vienna to work at the Saxa Film Studio as a script girl, where she acted in a few films. She performed in plays as well. In 1933, Lamarr married a wealthy weaponry supplier named Fritz Mandl, who was well known in European political circles and even befriended Italy's dictator Benito Mussolini. She was also present for many important discussions about the mechanics of devices used in combat and the new technologies emerging. These conversations would eventually prove useful. But Lamarr's problematic marriage to Mandl, coupled with the growing unrest in Europe, compelled her to flee to the United States. Soon she was steeped in Hollywood stardom. Among several others, she appeared in the films Algiers, Boomtown, and Samson and Delilah. Though on one particular night early in her Hollywood career, Hedy Lamarr met author and composer George Antheil at a friend's dinner party. She invited him over for dinner at her home the next evening. There they discussed torpedoes, and Lamarr described her idea for a radio-directed torpedo. For weeks thereafter, the two gradually devised a system to direct underwater missiles using a method of wireless communication. As one author indicates, this torpedo guidance system would consist of a transmitter programmed with a fixed frequency, continuously shifting and random, and of a secured guidance receiver which would shift its frequency to match that of the transmitter. This made it far easier for the receiver to pick up guidance instructions and impossible for any spy to interpret. It was referred to as frequency hopping. With Antheil's own contribution, the pair submitted the project called Secret Communication System to the United States government to be patented. In the decades following, frequency hopping would be used and built upon by the U.S. government. Eventually, this incredible invention was incorporated into technologies such as Wi-Fi, GPS, and Bluetooth. To learn more about this exceptional person, you can check out any of these library items. Alright, Megan, so what weird thing do you have for the people this week?
Hi there. This week's weird thing is that this Friday is November 13th. So I thought I would take this opportunity to discuss the superstitions behind Friday the 13th. The number 13 is regarded as unlucky in many cultures. We even have a name for the irrational fear of the number 13, triskaidekaphobia. Now, according to some historians, the number 13 gets a bad rap all because of a Norse myth about a dinner party in Valhalla with 12 guests. When Loki, the trickster god, shows up as the 13th uninvited guest, causes tons of mayhem resulting in the death of the god Balder, the entire earth mourned, and from then on out, the number 13 was regarded as unlucky. Similarly, the Christian story of the Last Supper also involves a dinner party with 13 guests that goes terribly wrong. People have been afraid of the number 13 for a long time. The Babylonian code of law in ancient Mesopotamia, the Code of Hammurabi, consisted of 282 laws, including the famous an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth, but it didn't have a 13th law. It skipped straight from the 12th to the 14th. Superstitious sailors will not go out to sea with a crew of 13, many tall buildings do not have a 13th floor, and it is still considered unlucky to have a dinner party with 13 guests. But how did Fridays get roped into this superstition? It turns out that unlucky Fridays have been a thing for centuries. In Chaucer's Canterbury Tales, he says that Friday is a day of misfortune, and in 1592, the term Friday-faced was coined to mean a look of gloom or dismay. There are so many misfortunes that happen on Fridays that I can't even get into them all. But it's not all bad news, folks. There's no real scientific data that says that more accidents happen on Friday the 13th, and in some countries like Italy, 13 is considered to be a lucky number. So I say, embrace any Italian roots you may have and celebrate this Friday the 13th. We have a few books about superstitions if you want to read more on the topic, or if you want to relax with an entertaining story that takes place on Friday the 13th, check out any version of Freaky Friday. We have the original book as well as 3 film adaptations of it. The 1976 version with Jodie Foster is my personal favorite. Take care this Friday the 13th, everyone, and stay safe.